Hey guys, Victoria here and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be talking about my after school routine during Form 4 and Form 5 back when I was still in high school, since a lot of you guys have been requesting for this video. And at the end of this video, I'll also be answering some commonly asked questions like how do you balance between Form 4 and Form 5 syllabus, and how do you revise despite your tuition classes, and other questions like that. So let's proceed with today's video. So first off, this will be my after school routine when it's around 2 months away from trials, when the pressure is like real and you realize that you have to really work hard. That was my after school routine. But before that, I have to talk to you about my tuition schedule to give you a clearer picture. So I took tuition classes for BM, the 3 science subjects, modern mathematics and additional mathematics. And this is how my schedule looked like. So on Monday, I didn't have any tuition. But then on Tuesday, I had a BM tuition from 7 to 10. On Thursday, I had maths tuition, which is for maths and modern maths combined, from 8 to 10 p.m. And then Friday, I had a physics tuition from 8 to 10 p.m. as well. And on Saturday, it was the worst because I had tuition for both biology and chemistry. So biology was from 3 to 5, and then chemistry was from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Yeah, I know it sounds very tedious, and I don't even know how I survived it back then, but yeah. Basically, that is my tuition schedule. So my school finished at 1:45 p.m. every day, except on Friday when it would finish at 12:30 p.m. But other than that, from Monday to Thursday, it finishes at 1:45 p.m. And my house is actually quite near to my school, so I will reach home at around 2:10 p.m. And usually right after I reach home, I would take my lunch because I'm always hungry. And I would take around 30 minutes break, like including my lunch. I would take around 30 minutes break. However, that is not very fixed because it depends on my energy level for that day. If I feel really drained and I feel tired, then I take a longer break. But other than that, I just take a 30 minutes break and I would watch drama, regenerate and stuff for around 30 minutes. And then by 2:40 p.m, I would usually go into my room to revise. So if you have watched my how I plan my study schedule video, you will know that I use like an A4 paper to plan my revision for the 3 science subjects and sejarah. And so usually by 2:40 I would go into my room and I would pick out a chapter from there and then just start revision right away. And I don't do my homework and I don't take a nap as well. And the reason why I don't do my homework isn't because like I chose to ignore it, but because I have finished it when I was in school. So I'm just the kind of person that likes to rush my homework. Ever since I was little, I hated having any sort of homework. So whenever a teacher is absent, or if a teacher is late to class, or you know that time interval where one teacher leaves from your class and the other teacher haven't arrived yet, I usually like maximize the usage of that time by completing my homework. So 90% of the time I wouldn't have homework, which is good because it gives me a chance to like utilize my time properly at home without having to worry about homework. And then I don't take a nap just because I never had the habit of taking naps ever since I was little. I never took naps, so yeah. So I would start my revision from around 2:10 to 5:30, and I do take study breaks in between, and then I have my dinner at around 5:30 usually, and then I'll give myself 1 hour off. So from 5:30 to 6:30 is basically like time to relax again, and then at 6:30 I would resume my revision until it's around 10. And from 10 o'clock I would get ready for bed and I would sleep around 10:30 every single day. So as you all know, I usually like to do 1 chapter of revision per day. So let's say I pick a biology chapter for that day. So I would study from 2:10 to 5:30, and then from 5:30 I'll take a rest to 6:30. And after 6:30, I either try to finish that chapter if I haven't finished it, or if I have finished that chapter, then I will go on and do practice questions and like the questions that I could find on that particular chapter, and I will resume until 10 p.m. So that was my after school routine for days when I didn't have tuition class, and for days when I did have tuition class, I had a different kind of routine. So take Tuesday for example. So every Tuesday I had tuition from 7 to 10 p.m. But then apart from that, I also had KK activities on Tuesday. So I would only reach home at around 4:30 p.m. every Tuesday, and it was actually pretty tiring because after 4:30 I come home and I relax for a while, take a bath and then get dinner, and then I would have to rush straight to tuition. So Tuesday is considered like a rest day for my own revision, so I don't actually revise anything on Tuesday. Yeah, and then on Wednesday I don't have any tuition, so I would resume the routine that I had on Monday. On both Thursday and Friday I had a tuition class from 8 to 10 p.m. So usually I would come home and then I would revise from 2:40 to 5:30 p.m. and then I get dinner and then I go straight to tuition. So on days when I had tuition, I still try to finish a chapter per day, and how I do it is I tend to pick shorter chapters for days when I did have tuition classes to attend to. Like instead of picking biology chapter, which is pretty time consuming, I would take a physics chapter instead. So for physics, I usually list out the chapters like 2.1, 2.2 instead of just like chapter 2, because I know that I could never finish a single chapter 2 in one day. It's too long. So the way I do physics is I would list out like chapter 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. So on days when I did have tuition like Thursdays and Fridays, I would pick out maybe today I would do 2.2 and 2.3, and then I try to finish revision for those particular subtopics. Either that or I would revise a chapter of chemistry, because chemistry is also less time consuming compared to biology. So the way I did it is that on days when I didn't have tuition classes to attend to and I knew that I would have longer time for revision, I would usually pick out longer chapters to cover, like for example biology chapters and history chapters, which take like a long time to get through. I would usually do that on days when I didn't have any tuition, and on days when I did have tuition and I know that my schedule is a little bit packed, I only have from 2:30, 2:40 to around 5:30 p.m. So I would pick out shorter chapters to cover, for example physics subtopics, or I would do chemistry. So that was the way I did it. And so basically that was my after school routine for when it was around 2 months away from trials, and I know that it sounds pretty hectic. It sounds pretty hectic to me even now. But then I did make sure that every Sunday I would have one day off just to regenerate and refuel myself for the week ahead. So maybe you should do that also. Now I'll just proceed to answering some frequently asked questions by you guys, and the first one would be how do you balance revising between Form 4 and Form 5? And my answer is that I revise Form 4 and Form 5 chapters alternatively, giving equal importance to both. So I don't actually spend more time revising Form 5 chapters, and I don't neglect Form 4 chapters just because I've studied them once. So for Form 4 chapters, I'm aware that I have already studied them once when I was preparing for my exams in Form 4, but then I still revise it like I would do any Form 5 chapters, and I still make notes on it, and I don't neglect Form 4 chapters. But then I did notice that I could get through Form 4 chapters much quicker than Form 5 chapters, because I have understood it once and I just need to trigger my memory, but I still give equal importance to both Form 4 and Form 5 syllabus, and the reason is that because they are equally important. Like you'll be tested 50-50 on Form 4 and Form 5, and I really don't trust that I could remember what I learned around a year ago, so I have to revise it like I'm doing a brand new chapter. And my advice to you is to do the same. Just revise Form 4 chapters like you are doing it for the first time. Make notes on it, do whatever you need to do in order to read and revise those chapters. Give equal importance to both Form 4 and Form 5 syllabus. It is not okay to neglect the Form 4 syllabus. The second frequently asked question is how do you overcome tiredness from school? And I know how tiring school can be, and then once you get home, you're expected to study again and to like do your homework and whatever. And how I do it is I will give myself the break that I mentioned, depending on my energy level as well. So usually it's around 30 minutes, but if I feel very tired on that particular day, then I will give myself a longer break, because there is no point trying to force my brain to absorb information when it is just like tired and not working very well. I also like to keep light snacks on my table to keep me energized, but I do have some more specific tips on how to be productive after school, and that video should have been posted before this one, so I'll leave the link in the description box below so that you can go and watch that video if you haven't already. The third question that is asked a lot is, how do you still have time for revision when you have tuition classes to attend to? And my answer is that I utilize the time between like after school and before my tuition, because I usually have tuition classes from 8 to 10 p.m. on most days. So I still have time to get plenty of revision done in between 2:40 to 5:30 p.m. So I would fit my revision into that space. And another thing that I did that I don't recommend at all is the fact that I never did any of my tuition homework. Back then I used to have tuition homework for biology, addition, mathematics and modern mathematics, but I never did get through any of them. And the reason why is because I really hate it when something interferes with my revision schedule. Like if I have decided that I want to do a biology chapter 4 for that day, I really hate it if I can't do it just because I have other homework to go through. So I try to minimize all the homework that I get, whether from school or from tuition. Tuition homework, I just don't do that at all, which is really bad, and you should never not complete your tuition homework. Definitely try to do it if you can help it, and if you have the time, then go through it, because it is probably a sign because it is good for you. So definitely don't do what I did. But so those are the 3 questions that I get asked a lot, and that was my after school routine for when it is around 2 months away from trials. So if you still have any questions, you can feel free to comment them down below, and I'll try my best to reply to all of you. That's all for today's video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!